All right, here we go. What is going on? What's going on, world? Talk to me. Listen, hopefully everybody can hear me clearly. We did some sound checks a little bit earlier today. I had to make sure that the camera was right. So I just wanted to come on here this evening and pretty much engage with those that have been following me for a while. If you've already liked, subscribed, any of the previous information that I've left, whether it's on Facebook or my Instagram or even my YouTube channel of Bread Talk Investors. I do appreciate all of that, man. Likes, comments, everything. All those things are extremely encouraging. So I just encourage you, just keep on coming back. We're going to keep continuing to get better. We're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to elevate, and we're going to keep continuing to educate, because it's important that we make sure that that people are getting information just to minimize the disparities when it comes to economics, especially in communities like where I'm from. I don't know where you're from, but if you're from any place like myself, which is the Bronx and Harlem, growing up in those times, man, I wish I had information like I have right now. I wish I had the professional development. I wish I had the personal development. I wish I had mentorship. I wish I had the proper mentorship, because we've all been given some type of mentorship throughout our years, but financial education, mentorship, and knowing how to move in rooms where, typically, people would feel uncomfortable. But over the last 4.5 years, I've really been engaging and locking in and building teams and building camaraderies and learning how to coach and learning how to take the failures and turn them into pluses. That's incredibly important, because what I always say is there's no such thing as a loss. There's no such thing as a lose. It's always a win. Why? Because I've learned to take my wins or take my losses and turn them into wins. I always say 2 L's. If you turn it a L back around towards the other L, it's going to form a W. It's all about perception, right? It's all about perception. So I won't be before you long. Listen, I've been a part of this incredible platform for the last 4.5 years, and really what got me here to learn how to trade in the world's largest financial markets, to learn about foreign exchange, to learn about cryptocurrency, to learn about the stock market, to learn about group economics, to learn about learning how to create diversified incomes, whether it's through e-commerce or just even in the travel industry. Ladies and gentlemen, social media branding and marketing has always been a part of the growth in the process. And just because, my background, I was an IT professional at one point in my life. And just because I knew all those things doesn't mean I knew how to navigate in the social media realm, which is ever growing, right? Would you agree? In the last 5 to 10 years, you've seen a tremendous growth and change in how information is dispersed through social media. It's probably the largest platform in the world. So the hardest part about social media, I would say, is learning how to disseminate if information is credible or if it's fiction, right? Got to disperse between facts and fiction. So, and that just takes a little bit of work, and it takes a face of credibility. So listen, briefly, I'm gonna just cover a little bit about me and basically what did I come here to talk about tonight. So again, my name is Dre Lavelle, the Bread Talker. Led me down this path, man. Listen, wanting to be an entrepreneur or learn how to become an entrepreneur. My background, I was in the military for 9 years. And through those 9 years, what I've learned was a lot of growth as a young man coming into the military at age 24. Age 24, for some that's late. For me, I believe it was right on time for a few key reasons. Like I said before, earlier, I was in New York. I'm a New Yorker, and at the time, I remember in the late 1990s and the early 2000s. Now, I used to be working in mail rooms. I used to work in various jobs, odd jobs. I would have 3 and 4 different jobs, just running around, just doing what I had to do to, pretty much to survive and just enjoy my life at that time. And then I had a child, so I really had to really buckle down. But I worked in a building that was right behind the World Trade Center, right smack behind it. And I remember even in earlier years, I would do messenger work, right? And I would have to walk up in the building. I would go up in the World Trade Center and, deliver my package and I'm gone. And fast forward a couple of years, I went into the military. And fortunately, in 2001, the World Trade Center, it got hit on 9/11. And at that same time, I was already in the military. I was probably about a year in, about that time, exactly a year in. But I was on my first deployment at that time. And I just remember being out to sea and seeing that happen, not knowing, because the lines of communications were cut. We didn't know what had happened. And we just found out the World Trade Center had got hit. Now, I had family that worked in that immediate area. And particularly my father worked in the area. And at the time, my wife worked in that area. At that same time, while I was on deployment, and listen, my heart was beating. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't hear back from them. All I felt was this patriotic feeling, but I also felt happy because a year ago, was in that area. A year and a half ago, I worked in that area. I could have been there. I'm glad I listened to the opportunity. I'm glad I listened to my inner me when it said, just go, just do, just follow. I didn't have no clue. I went with fear. I don't want to go to a war, but I just decided to go to the military. It still was the best decision I made. Fast forward a couple of years later, when I'm talking about listening to signs, listening to information, listening to that inner me, right? I decided to, at age 27, on a personal note, I got diagnosed with cancer. And listen, I'm much older now, so that was years ago, and I'm doing quite well right now. But listen, at that stage, at that age, at 27, had I listened to my peers, listened to my friends, if I would have told everybody about my vision of what I wanted to do with myself, I would have just listened to what they were saying, because my friends who had a significant impression upon me. But when I got diagnosed with cancer, thank God I was in the military, because listen, it takes care of itself. Lord knows I wouldn't be here right now. My wife, she would have been a widow at this stage right now. I'm quite sure of it, because the bill for something like that, I didn't have proper insurance. I didn't have proper financial education. I certainly wasn't professionally developed. I was on my way. I didn't even know what true manhood was yet. I just was learning. So at age 27, when I must admit, I was devastated, but that didn't stop me or deter me from my destination. See, I was covered, just like I was covered back in 2001, just like I was covered back in 2000 when I made a decision to just go and do and become, right? And I did the same thing again. When this information had came across, and I was looking for other opportunities. Once I got out the military, I got into college and graduated, got my bachelor's, worked up in DC for a while. I did some phenomenal things. Now I bumped my head along the way. Let's be clear. Of course, I made some mistakes along the way, but I've made more wins, more pluses, and I've always been optimistic about things. I always looked at the good in every negative situation, and I always figured out how to make the W, right? I never took a loss. I always gained a lesson. So when this information came across at the time I was seeking to become a real estate agent, it said it made sense, right? I'm working towards entrepreneurship. I might as well go ahead and start doing this while I'm studying for my exam. I might as well just go ahead and add this one in, because it makes sense. It was an opportunity. Now, quite honestly, when the gentleman came and presented this information, like, have you ever heard of foreign exchange? What's foreign exchange? You never heard of the forex market? I'm in my 30s. I'm in whatever age I'm in at that time frame. I never heard of this particular market. I know about, about the financial markets. Yeah, I know about the stock exchange. Yeah, I know about the stock exchange. Well, listen here. Here's the thing. I came to find out that the importance of the financial markets, the importance of the Forex market or the foreign exchange market and how marginalized the stock market was. Of course, I grew up in New York. I worked in the area, so I was quite familiar with the stock market. I've seen it. I've seen people come in and out and going in and out and going. But to learn that there was a market that was bigger than that I can easily gain access to. Now, at the time, we didn't have the access to these technologies like we do right now. But when I learned that the foreign exchange market was a market that was almost $7 trillion strong a day, right? Liquid, meaning 6.7 trillion dollars is being made every day through this particular market, while billions are being funneled through the stock market, the foreign exchange market. Regardless of whatever market conditions, whatever pandemics, I know it's all about the currencies. This market has never met a recession. Why? Because currencies are always moving. Every country has a currency. Someone's going to be in the buyer's market. Someone's going to be in the seller's market, right? Stock markets, they deal with companies and corporations. And sometimes those companies and corporations, they go through turbulent moments where the stock just plummets totally or it appreciates, right? But with the foreign exchange market, it's easy to get in, to learn how to trade and be successful. Now, I'm going to show you some of the tools and resources that I've been using over the last couple of years that has allowed me to become successful, not professionally, personally, and financially. Quite honestly, taking these great, immense leaps and steps. And I hope that you're entertained. And if that's the case, go ahead and leave a comment down below. If you see value so far in the information that I'm talking about and you're curious, if you're curious, go ahead and write that in the chat down below or in the comment sections, right? I'm curious. But I'm going to share with you briefly some of the tools that that has helped me. I got with this company, and when I partnered up with this academy, it showed me step by step, and I had phenomenal team members and leaders that held my hand along the way. So when it was moments when I felt discouraged, like this, understanding this information, I really can't understand it. But the thing in my mind, here's how I'm made up, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. Here's how I'm made up. If that person over there and those people over there can figure it out, then I better believe that I can figure out, because they're not smarter than me. I don't care, white, black, Hispanic, Asian. It doesn't matter where they come from. They're not smarter than me. It just means that now I am challenged with an opportunity to succeed. When I was in the military, that's the same thing I did. When I was working in a marginalized environment, I sought to pull myself up and study hard. So when everybody was out partying and playing and working, I was on the sidelines on my days off, and in between times, studying, working, networking, getting familiar with the lay of the land and getting familiar with people. So when opportunities presented themselves, I found my niche. Same thing, fast forward. I applied those same principles. My success back then is still my same success today. I don't quit. And if you're that type of person, you hear this information and I got you warmed up and buttered, great. I'm going to show you some tools and resources. I'm in this community with Rich University. I built my brand through them and with them. And I partnered with this phenomenal company within I Am Mastery Academy. When we partnered with them, they showed us how to utilize tools and develop a skill set and to be matured around an environment where you can succeed. I didn't understand these charts in the beginning, but if you stay tuned, I'm going to show you briefly how easy it is to place trades in the market, how to grow yourself, how to become more successful. And really, it just takes time to grow and develop. And if you can give yourself time, like if you gave yourself enough time to read, you gave yourself enough time to ride a bike, you gave yourself enough time to drive a car, you gave enough time to figure out the job that you have right now or the occupation that you have right now, you gave yourself enough time to figure it out. So when the time came and it was time for you to advance, you've only advanced because you've applied yourself. You showed up for your own success. And I'm looking for the people that want to show up for their own success here and not only just becoming an entrepreneur, but showing, excuse me, showing other people how to become an entrepreneur. Now, what you're looking at on the screen right now is a tool we have. It's called Wolf Rush. Go ahead and write that down. It's called Wolf Rush. This is a banking software tool, like an educator, somebody that was just like me, not knowing too much about the market. They came and learned, and through the education here, they learned a skill set that allowed them to look at these charts. Now, for you, I know if this is your first time looking at it, you're like, wow. I'm familiar with watching the EKG screen, right? The heart monitor when things are going up and down. I know when I see blue, I know when I see red. Well, I'm just going to briefly cover what it is that you should be looking at that's going to help and contribute to your success. You utilize one of these tools that we have here. We got a plethora of different tools. So this is one of my medicines right here. This tool right here, if you're looking on it, right, it's giving me the month, it's giving me the minutes, it's giving me the hours, it's giving me the day, right? The time frames. This blue that you see right here is called a candlestick, right? This is your buy candlestick, or AKA the bull. It's a bull candle, bullish, right? So when it's blue, it's going up. That means it's in a buyer's market. Now, when you see a red, that means it's going in a sell. Now, it's a few other things here, some key indicators. Now, you're going to see this on various other charts, other tools and softwares. Yes, you'll see a blue, or sometimes you may see a green and a red. But for right here, what you're looking at, you see this blue bar right here. It's real thick, right? Somebody made some money here if they place a trade in this area right here. They made a little bit of money in this area. Right here, you see the reds. The market is always moving forward, like life, right? Life moves forward. And the goal is, if you can understand your past, then it gives you a better projection of what your future can be in real life, right? Well, the market is the same way. If you're looking at these candlesticks, you'll see like these little cloudy waves over here. This one right here is called the rush wave, right? And this one right here, down here with the red line going through it, it's called the wolf wave, right? The wolf wave. And there's this thick line right here. It's called a smart line. But that smart line, when it's opening up and it's thick, and it's letting me know that this market right here, look at all this. It pushed down and it gets thicker. It gets wider and it becomes more separated from this wolf. Excuse me, from this rush cloud over here. It becomes thicker. There's a bigger separation in between it, right? Now, if you see that and if you can identify that, great. What you also should also identify down here, I want you to take close, key looks at these arrows, right? Red arrows pointing down. And then you got pinkish. That's when the market's a little light, a little iffy. Now, I'm not going to go into great details about this particular tool, but basically they're giving me the indication in which direction the market is going. And if you're familiar with the weather, if you know which direction or what the weather is going to be for the next day, for the next minute, for the next hour, which I could pretty much find out on my phone right now, then I know that the indicators are giving me a guide and letting me know that this may be an opportunity for me to get into the market and gain some momentum and gain some success. Now, me, I'm looking at this chart right here. I know I'm in the AUD-JPY. How do I know that it's AUD-JPY? What is AUD-JPY? The Australian dollar and the Japanese yen, the buyer and the seller. Depending on market conditions, it's going to tell you which one is bigger, which one is greater, which one's stronger, which one has more momentum. Currency is consistently flowing. If you've ever been in on a flight and you had to go overseas, if I got some people that ever went overseas, or if you go into another country outside of the United States, you've seen these little kiosks. Maybe you've been in a mall environment, or maybe you've been on the street somewhere in a major city. You've seen these little kiosk centers where you can exchange currency, right? You can exchange currency, whether there's an exchange rate for that currency, and depending on where the market is, it always fluctuates because, again, market conditions are it just depends on geopolitical issues or wherever we're at in the world, or it just depends on the various things, what's happening in the world, the real-time market. This one we're here for AUDJPY, it's telling me that the Japanese yen is pretty strong. It took a drop right here in this particular area. Now, I know it came up a little bit, but it also dropped down a little bit more because I got a lot of red going on right here. Can you imagine if you would have caught the market here, anywhere here, in this area right here, in this area where I'm circling, if you would have executed a trade that was a sell and you was able to put yourself in position where you can ride that wave on the way down, baby, ride it down, right? Who knows what that would look like for you? But I'm here to tell you, if you have enough money leveraged in your trading account, if you're using proper risk management, then I'm here to tell you that the success can be tremendous. But the only way this information is even pretty much accessible to you is if you're on our platform, right? If you're on our platform, there's some key indicators. If you can follow colors, listen, if Dorothy, Toto, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Cowardly Lion can follow the yellow brick road, they followed the yellow brick road. They didn't follow the blue road because they didn't follow a green road because it wouldn't have led them to the ultimate destination. But if you could follow the yellow brick road, then we can help you follow your true destination, which is success. Can you take some losses or lessons on your journey? Absolutely, because I most certainly have. Proudly I have. That didn't deter me because once I stuck with it, like a relationship, just because a relationship was bad, doesn't mean I just leave it off to the side. This education has shown me so much more about myself. The market is a philosophy in my life now. I relate so much to the market, the conditions, the changes, the ups and downs. Some things you just don't have any control over it. And if you can understand that, then we can help you better understand the market, how to be a better forecaster of the market. We can help you lead you to your success. We have several platforms. We have several time frames. We have an extreme community that is lifting people up by their bootstraps. Right? Again, if you can follow the candles, you can follow the patterns of these beautiful arrows. If you understand what the wolf rush or the rush wave is, or the significance of the smart line, or even the trend line, if you understand and you put all those things together, you want to use some news, you want to use some technical analysis, some fundamental analysis, and less emotional analysis, right? Then we can help you become more successful and better project what the market can be. We have another tool here called levels. Here in this particular tool, we got strategies like the M5 strategy and the Monday strategy, where we could just pretty much predict, hey, look, if the market is in this area, in this particular time frame, if it moves, if it goes down, like whoever got in this particular trade right here, if you got into this trade last week, no, excuse me. If you got into this trade earlier this week and you would have got into it about right here, you would have known that this was going to be a sale and you would have taken advantage of it and rolled this bad boy down. I would have gotten out of the trade by then because look at the wick. This is called the wick, this long line that's connected to the candlestick. Now, I don't know if you can truly see it. So let me expand my screen a little bit. See, I want to make sure that you can see what I see. I don't know where you're at, but I know where I'm at. So I'm going to bring it in just a little bit closer. Say, Dre, I need to see more. Write that in the chat. Write that in the comment. Dre, I would love to see more. See more. Good. I'm going to help you see just a little bit more. This candle right here, I see where I'm at the 50% area right here. And I know my trends. I know my levels. This market took a dip right here. And that was a significant gain. Right there. If you would have rolled that candle, that one candlestick would have set you up nicely for the day, for the week, for the month, however you choose and prefer to trade. We like to say, listen, don't put yourself in positions where you're gambling in the market. I know a lot of people that I've known, man, they say, man, I don't want to be gambling like that, but you're on FanDuel. You're on DraftKings, you're on Underdog, whatever resources you use to place them bids. Listen, the same skill set can be applied here, except with more education, with more community, with more value, with more accuracy. We can show you how to become successful. Take the money that you have and utilize the market. Now, I would tell people this: do not forsake thy 9 to 5. Do not forsake thy 9 to 5, right? Because you're going to use that skill. You're going to use that money. You're going to use that opportunity and grow yourself into a business. You're going to grow yourself into independence, right? I see too many people say, well, I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to get in the market and learn. Well, I would say, that's your choice, but I would caution against it, right? I like people that's going to be smart traders, right? If you have 401ks and things of that nature, those are great. But how much greater would it be if you were the one that's actually responsible for the percentages that you can make per day, that you can make per week, that you can make per month, as opposed to some system doing it, right? Which is fine, right? Because that's another tool to leverage mutual funds, other real estate, and various other business ventures and opportunities that will help compound your money. The goal is to put more money in your pocket. Why do we have to put ourselves in a position where we got to fund somebody else's dreams and not fund our own because we dare not educate ourselves and take the time? I get a little passionate about that part right there. Take the time, educate yourself. Listen, we have a tremendous wealth community. We meet up on a daily basis. We're always, again, professional, personal development. We're always concerned about current market conditions, current trends that allow people to become more successful. We're very intricate in the tools and the resources that we use, how we navigate through social media. Because listen, this world today, I don't know about you, but you don't have to go to the supermarket to find friends. You can go on social media and find more friends. I'm not saying that they're real friends, but you can go on social media and find a plethora of people that will follow you and admire you, adore you. You'll build a following. You can do that more through social media because you will impact the world, not just the small geographical area that you're in at the present moment. Listen, I'm here to show you how to become a better version of yourself today, how to pay attention to the inner you. Like I said before earlier in this conversation, had I not listened to the inner me, I would have never left home. I would have listened to what the naysayers were saying. And more than likely, I would either be a casualty of maybe 9/11, God forbid, or maybe a victim of having cancer. And yes, I am a survivor. So that was many years ago. That was almost 20 years ago that I got diagnosed. And thank God, again, because I was in the military, I'm a proud service member of the United States Navy. Did my 9 years. And thank you, Lord, that I did make that decision, because my family, my wife of almost 23 years, my children, 5, grandchildren, 3, we've done pretty well for ourselves and we live pretty well. But that's only because of the decisions that we made, listening to the inner me, listening to that inner voice, the one that God speaks to you with. I'm a fellow believer, and I just believe that this skill, this information that you too can have access to, will help impact and change your life. So again, my name is Dre Lavelle, the Bread Talker. Listen, I want to help you get introduced to our wealth community. Just definitely down below, just leave a comment. If you leave a comment, leave a number 1 with some type of interest. I guarantee you, we're going to reach out to you. We're going to reach out to you. We're going to make sure that you get all the information that you need. Check down below in the descriptions, or in the message, in the descriptions, and look for a specific link. I would love for you to book an appointment so that we can get you in front of the information, in front of our immense wealth community, worldwide community that's showing people, that's helping them lead the way to success. Listen, the more you know, the more you grow. I'm all about building, bridging, and empowering. My name is Dre Lavelle, the Bread Talker. You can find me on Instagram at I am, the letter I, the letter M as in Mike, _ Bread Talker. I am _ Bread Talker on Instagram, and on Facebook. You can look and find me on The Bread Talker. The Bread Talker on Facebook, and pretty much on every other platform. It's either I am _ Bread Talker, or you can find me at The Bread Talker. So again, thank you for tuning in. If you see any information in here, or if anything that I said resonates with you, then please leave a comment down below. Like, share, and tag. Listen, this information, maybe it may not be for you. Maybe you may not qualify to be a part of the experience that I'm having, but you may know someone who may be looking, who may be searching, who may also qualify for this opportunity to help change their life. I make you no promises, except the one, if you put in the work, if you put in the time, then success will be yours. You choose today which one you will serve. You have a great one. Dre Lavelle, the Bread Talker. Talk to me.